Hello and welcome to the latest in our series of webinars on the HOP platform. So HOP stands for Hertfordshire Opportunities Portal. It is a website full of resources for students and young people in our schools and colleges, specifically around Hertfordshire, to help guide you in your next career steps. Today, we are going to be talking about sociology and what that means as a course, why you might want to go into it, and the sorts of careers that you might go into as a result of studying sociology. So I've got two excellent panelists for you today who are going to share some of their experiences and insights that hopefully are going to help you decide whether sociology is the right journey for you to go on. So firstly, I'm going to hand over to Dr. Julius Elster from London Metropolitan University. Julius, thanks for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Thanks so much, Gareth, for inviting me. So my background is an eclectic one. I came to London to pursue a music career. Then I jointly worked for Tottenham Hotspur and Harringay Council, where I managed and developed youth outreach programs and education projects for local people in North and East London. At that point, I wanted to further investigate the causes of what's going on in our society. For example, explore what shapes people's lives, especially the everyday world is an interest of me. So I decided to pursue a master's in philosophy of the social sciences at London School of Economics. I did really well there and later on got a scholarship to do a PhD in sociology at the University of Birmingham. At the University of Birmingham, I taught sociology and sociological theory. And then I missed London and transferred to London Metropolitan University, where I run a youth studies bachelor's program which draws on a lot of sociology. This bachelor's program is rooted at London Metropolitan University and is a very popular bachelor's course.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about that relationship between sociology and youth studies and what's perhaps different about the two of them. But also like to welcome Aurora. Aurora, thank you for joining us and for sharing your story and experiences in sociology. So give us a bit of background. What brought you onto the course that you did? You're on mute.
Sorry. Hi, Gareth. Thank you for having me here today. So I'm Aurora. I come from Italy, and I've studied sociology at London Met. I came in London as an au pair, but then I decided to start my degree here in London at London Met, and I decided to do sociology because I felt it was something that would really passionate me. Right now, I am a research assistant, and I'm working in a project with the London Met Lab and the National Youth Theatre. And I also am an early educator, and I've been doing that for 3 years. And yeah, I'm really happy to be here today.
Okay, well, thanks so much for joining us. Julius, let me go with you the obvious question then. What is sociology?
Well, studying sociology will certainly help you to understand the world around you and think more deeply about the cause and effects of what's going on out there. So I suppose the best way to understand sociology is to talk about something else than sociology. So, for example, a medical doctor examines patients and then apply principles and procedures of medicine to prevent or diagnose or care for patients with illness. A sociologist is doing the same, but they are examining matters of concern in society, so social issues. And then they draw on sociological concepts and sociological theories. And we use a range of different methods to understand and explain concerns that people have around them in different neighborhoods, in different communities, and in society more broadly.
Okay, thank you. I think that's a really good opener there to explain what we mean by sociology. So, Aurora, what was your interest in sociology? I mean, was it, as Julius just said there, was it just an interest in what was going on in the world around you? Or was there a particular trigger point where you thought, this is something that I want to go and study?
So I feel like sociology, first of all, is really important because it helps you to understand society, but everyday life from different perspectives, and helps you to question everything. So before, I used to question everything, and I was interested and curious about different perspectives of things. So I thought, yeah, I feel like sociology would let me do that in a more professional way. And yeah, so I feel like that was a really good example about, the doctor, because it's a sociology is a scientific study of society and like how humans behave in the society. And I feel also like, we have lots of sociological theories that we can apply to every scenarios in everyday life, and helps you to understand everyday life from different perspectives and more in depth.
So, look, I mean, from what you've just said there, it's a really fascinating study, and it's something that even on a subconscious level, I'm sure we all do this on a day-to-day basis, perhaps without understanding. But when Julius, where does it lead to? Because it's all for sort of very well understanding the theory and recognizing what's going on around you. But how do you then relate that into a potential future career? As far as I'm aware, there are no jobs out there for sociologists. I probably made that word up. But how do people who study sociology have a positive impact within society?
Well, firstly, I'm a sociologist and I do have an income. So obviously there are jobs out there for sociologists, but a sociology degree is recognized by its eclectic output. I think you can go on and do a range of different things. And I think if I maybe use some examples of how to apply sociology in a real life setting. So I read recently that there's a staggering rise in anxiety among children. And the solution was to install counselors in every school. And this, of course, is a positive thing. But sociologists would then look at the root causes. What is it that has led to this staggering rise in anxiety? And we have then found out that pressures from target-driven education, cyberbullying, child poverty, and lots of uncertainty about the future are reasons behind the anxiety. So then we can draw the conclusion, perhaps bringing in counsellors into schools is not the only solution. If we truly want to get to grips with the root causes, then we have to tackle the pressure from education. We have to tackle cyberbullying. We have to tackle poverty, and we have to tackle the fact that young people feel very uncertain about their futures. That's how you deal with the root causes. And sociologists are experts at looking at the root causes of social issues.
Julius, you've known me long enough to know that my previous question was slightly facetious in the way that I asked it, deliberately, to try and provoke you into such a passionate response. But I think what I want to know is, sociologists are out there, there are roles and there are jobs for them. Who are they employed by? I mean, is it the sort of thing that a local authority would employ a sociologist, or where do you go to get a job as a sociologist?
Yeah, so there's a lot we can say about that. Firstly, I'm going to say something that may not necessarily answer your question here. Sorry about that. So rather than thinking of a degree, a bachelor's degree as training for a specific career, I think we also have to think about a degree as fine-tuning people's skills and allowing them to explore a range of different careers. That's important to understand, that a degree is not just to get you into a specific job. At least that's how I understand it. So the skills that you gain from a sociology degree would range from the ability to judge and evaluate evidence, which is required in many different type of jobs, understanding the complexity and diversity of social life and different situations, to collect information and data, to come up with arguments, and to critically think about things. But to answer your actual question here, you would find a lot of sociology graduates in within the national government, in the public sector. Also NGOs would be keen on employing people with a sociology degree. Youth and social work colleagues like people with a sociology degree because they have an understanding of the root causes of those who feel marginalized or are experiencing issues. I could list more type of jobs. Criminal justice system is many of my graduates have gone on to work within the criminal justice system, probation work, and of course research and teaching is a popular pathway for sociology graduates. But it's important to emphasize the transferable skills that a sociology degree would have. And that could, of course, take sociology graduates into jobs in marketing, communication, PR, journalism, etc. Because the critical thinking, the research skills you gain from a sociology degree and my own youth studies degree, the one I'm running at London Met, would enable you to conduct high-level marketing research, as an example.
Sure. Okay. So thank you. I think that's a really, really important message you've given there about the transferable skills that you learn as a result of going to university and a degree. I think specifically the sociology one really does get you thinking very, very laterally. Aurora, let me put that question to you. So you've just graduated from your degree. What are your immediate plans and what are perhaps your longer term plans, and have they changed as a result of the course that you've done?
So yeah, I'll say I've studied sociology not to get in a specific career, but I studied and see where it would take me. I actually enjoyed the journey. I tried to get as many skills and knowledge I could get from the course. But yeah, through the years, I've changed my mind a few times. As I mentioned before, I'm working in a nursery right now. But through my sociology, my sociology journey, let's call it like that, I learned that I'm really interested in research, for example, and also really interested in migration and asylum and refugees. So from there, I went more into research and understand what research was and how important it is in the society and every day and for the future especially. And so right now I'm working as a research assistant from the university project with NYT. And for the future, I will try to apply for a social research officer with the civil services, which is the graduation scheme. And I will try to apply to that. I got to know about that actually thanks to London Met, as we do many workshops about the future career, and we get many speakers in uni that can help us and show us what they do. So I got really interested into that. That could be a really good opportunity to gain more research skill and start a career in research, for example. But I'll say from my other colleagues, I know that people are into teaching, or they might think they will get into HR, so try and do a master and get into HR. But also counselors or work for associations such as maybe association that with refugees, with migrants, or this kind of associations, let's say.
Sure. Okay. Well, that's obviously very, very far-reaching, and having a degree or studying sociology is going to open up lots and lots of opportunities and doors for you. Julius, you've already alluded to the youth studies course that you run. So could you just explain a bit about that? Is that something that undergraduates can apply for, and how does it fit into I think the faculty is called Public Services, Social Work and Third Sector, as London Met label it. But yeah, tell us a little bit more about the youth studies course.
So the youth studies course is combining youth work with sociology of youth. So for me, it's really, really important for those who want to work with young people to understand the context to which young people find themselves in. I mean, if you try to examine yourself, Gareth, you are an individual with agency. You can go about things and think about things critically on your own, but there's no doubt that your surroundings have shaped you in a range of different ways. And that is what we are interested in on the youth studies program. How do people develop their identities, and what identities may be destructive for an interesting trajectory for a young person? So there are stereotypes, there are stigmas out there that can hold back young people. They can start thinking about themselves in terms of negative identities. And these things are really important before you work with young people. Many of our youth study students are already rooted within the youth work sector, so they are interested in upskilling themselves. But we also have A-level students moving straight to the youth studies program, and it will open up a range of different opportunities, from working within the criminal justice system, probation work, but also family support worker, and within the NHS, which require a lot of specialists in the area. And recently I've also been able to engage students in paid work, so they are contributing to social research. We have recently won a big bid, and we are now commissioned by the Greater London Authority to understand the youth services in London, and also how we can give young people more of a say. It's what we call youth voice. And I've engaged several youth study students to help with that research. And of course, we pay them.
Yeah. No, okay. I mean, Julius, just to consider the similarities between youth studies and sociology as undergraduate career. Why might someone choose one over the other, do you think? So if someone was thinking, actually, I'm really set on sociology, but now Julius has just told me about youth studies, why one over the other?
That's an excellent question. So both of the courses will lead to a wide range of career pathways. And I think that's an asset, because I think Aurora has alluded to it already. During the 3 or 4 years that you studied, typically it would be 3 years, you will learn more about yourself, and you may change your perspective on the world, and you may also come up with new ideas about what you want to do in the future. So both of the degrees are allowing students to explore their own identity and also understand a range of different career pathways. But the youth studies program is more specifically oriented towards those who want to work with young people, conduct research with young people, or just understand the social world, which obviously has an impact on young people's pathway through life.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Okay. My next question is going to be to Aurora, but it's just, I guess, to make the point first of all that lots of universities in the country offer sociology. Sometimes it's pure sociology, and sometimes it's combined with other things. So we'll always fly the flag when we're running these hot webinars for our University of Hertfordshire, which I know does run a sociology program course. It also offers a sociology and psychology. And Aurora, I'm interested because I know that, earlier in your career journey, psychology was what you were really interested in, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. So did you have the option of studying sociology and psychology, or was it only one or the other? Or can you see the relationship between the two and where there are connections?
Yeah, so at London Met, yes, you have the possibility to study sociology with criminology or sociology with psychology as well. So yeah, that's definitely an option. Yeah, I definitely see the connection, of course. I was able to study a bit of social psychology the first year of uni. So yeah, in that course, you could actually see the, direct connection between these two studies or subjects. But yeah, early when I was younger in college, yeah, that was my first choice. I'll say psychology. But I'll say, yeah, maybe psychology is more scientific and more like focusing on the individual, while sociology is actually more broad and, I thought it was a better fit for me rather than focusing on one thing. But yeah, definitely in London Met, you have the possibility to do that. And I know colleagues that have done it. Yeah, and it's really good because, of course, they are subjects that are connected to each other. So it's definitely a choice. Yeah.
For sure. And then let me ask you this question as well, Aurora. So I know you're from Italy, so you're coming over to the UK for the first time to study. What was it about London Metropolitan University that made you want to go there above other ones? Because we said lots of universities in the UK offer sociology in some form, but what made you choose London Met?
So to be honest, it was a question of timing. So when I wanted to start university, it was already September and the classes were already started. So I saw the London Met actually had the option to start the course in February rather than September. So I thought that was great. It was a great opportunity. And I researched about the uni and I looked at the course structure and it was like really good. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And yeah, it actually turned out to be like really great. I only speak well about London Met because I really enjoyed. I appreciated everything, every lesson, and also the staff, the professors. I thought it was like really, really, really good. So yeah, it was just a question of timing. I really didn't explore many other universities, to be honest, at start, but I'm really happy with the ending.
Sure.
I'm super grateful about London Met, yes.
Yeah, and you touched on something else that I think is really important to consider, and I'll let you go first, Aurora, but then Julius, I'd be interested to get your take as well on that. But you said that you'd done research about the course that you were going to do, and of course, as you said, there's lots of sociology courses, but what sort of things did you want to consider about the actual structure of the course? What was important to you?
I'd say because I was taking the course and the university as a way of learning more and just have a great journey of knowledge. I just looked at it and I checked the subject, and I remember like when I saw research, I was like really fascinated about it. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna learn how to do research. And I didn't know much about it, but I'm like, okay, that's really good. And also I remember seeing like social problems and learning about poverty and like discrimination and, and crime and all these different subjects or social issues. And I thought like, okay, this is really, really interesting. Like, I want to learn this. I want to know more about this. Yeah. And so I feel like these things. And I feel that. And then probably even the other years I checked, and I feel like research was one of the main things that got my attention. And seeing that in the years you actually learn how to do quantitative and qualitative research and how to, use software like SPSS or, there is quantitative and, all these different actually practical skills on research. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, that's why the research, when you're studying what you're going to do with potentially the next 3 or 4 years of your life, is really important. Julius, on perhaps slightly more practical matters, I know you were telling me earlier that you've recently revised the structure of the degrees that you offer and the balance around coursework and exams, and that can be a really important factor. I mean, this isn't specific to youth studies and sociology. This is for any university course that you might consider.
Yeah, so We try on the youth studies program to have what we refer to as a bottom-up approach, which means that we need to listen to our students. What do they prefer? What are they interested in? How would they like the course to be structured? So some of the outcomes of discussions I've had with my students has led us to get rid of all the exams. So we don't have any exams on the course. We have alternative ways of assessing our students. And we typically look at the industry. What would the industry expect from their employees? We often come up with assignments that are linked to what the expectations are from the industry. That, I don't know about you, but personally, I also find exams to be a bit pointless. I don't know about you, but I can't imagine a workplace where you will be in a room for 3 hours without a break, where you have no access to the internet, and where you have to write frantically with a pen. So it's not very applicable in terms of a real life work situation. I do understand why we may have to assess people through exams. So we use podcasts, we use reflective work, we ask students to deliver presentations, and we even have a website template that students complete so that they can have a link to a website where they give an overview of a social issue and interventions that we may come up with in order to tackle that social issue. And all these different assignments can be used to brag about, or they can refer back to them in a job interview situation or in a job application. So students and graduates have found them really useful. So that's something I encourage all the A-level students and anybody else who are interested in pursuing a bachelor's course. Look at what type of assessments, what type of courseworks exist on the particular course that you're interested in. And if you are the type of person who like exams, then you may as well find a course that caters for you. If I can also add that there's one thing that very few applicants know about, and there will always be a course lead or a course convener attached to a particular course, and that person is in a position to talk on your behalf. That person is shaping, carving out your university journey. So I encourage you all to get in contact with a course convener before you choose the right course for you, because that person will play a big role in your university journey.
Sure. Okay. I mean, what you're saying there, Julius, again, it's not specific to sociology and youth studies. So this is really, really good and valuable information. Anyone who's considering going to university, you need to give this some really, really good thought. I mean, obviously anyone can get so much from the university's websites and from UCAS as well. But I guess you all have open days, don't you? There's always opportunities to actually come in and meet with, you and your colleagues, Julius.
Yeah, that's a good point, isn't it? We regularly have open days, and I really enjoy them, even though they may take place at 3 p.m. when Premier League matches are taking place on a Saturday. So I typically engage with applicants, some applicants who are specifically interested in the youth studies course, but also people who are interested in other courses, because it's great to hear from applicants, what do they want to get out of a university degree? It allows me to shape the course that I'm leading and also give advice to colleagues. So Open Days is not only an opportunity for applicants to get to understand their respective courses, but also an opportunity for us to get to understand prospective students.
Yeah, no, of course. Aurora, let me ask you this question. London Metropolitan University, where in London is it? London's obviously a big place. It's largely very accessible for anyone in Hertfordshire, but where specifically would students be going to study?
Yeah, so we have 2 campuses in London. One is in Holloway Road and the other one is in Aldgate. I know the sociology course take place in Holloway Road, which is really accessible. You got buses and you got also the trains, you got the Piccadilly, so it's actually really accessible. Yeah, these are the two locations. Yeah, and the campus is really great. We have the cafe. We have a nice garden, which is really nice all year long, especially in the summer. We just want to go there and relax. Yeah, and the staff as well is great, as I mentioned before. I had really a good support by the staff, by the professors as well. Yeah, and I felt like my voice was heard all the time, I'll say, in London Met. And maybe to come up about the assessments, I wanted to say in sociology, the assessments are mainly essays, which could be a bit scary when maybe you're not used that much to write essays. But I feel like they're a great way to learn about theories, about, you know, social issues and problems. And personally, I enjoyed the writing essays, even long ones. They push you to read and, you know, to learn in your own way. Yeah, so I just wanted to add on that.
No, and again, I think that's a really important point to consider, that it will require this sort of subject lends itself to needing to do lots of reading, and it will come out in the essays. That's maybe the trade-off of not having the exams as such, is that there would be requirements around writing. Julius, just in closing, I don't know how competitive places are on the courses or not, but generally, what would you want to see? Or when you see someone's UCAS application, I'm not sure whether they're digital or physical anymore, but what would you like to see in a potential student in their background? Are there particular A-levels you'd like to see that they'd studied?
Not for my course, and I think that's the same for sociology as well. So I think that it's quite standard, 3 A-levels with a minimum grades of BBC, as we call them, 112 UCAS points for those who understand what that is all about. But I personally, I'm interested in people who are curious. I think curiosity is an understated quality, and I also like students who are able to think outside the box. One thing that can be important for sociology students is to be able to rethink everyday life. That there are many things we take for granted, but when you truly look at it, that phenomenon may have a long history that could be rooted in discrimination or unfair treatment, etc. So I really like when people are good at asking questions. There are rarely any correct answers when it comes to sociology. So I think the best students are those who can ask critical questions and engage in a debate around them. Of course, we don't expect all applicants or students to have those prerequisites, if you like, but because that's what the sociology degree is for, to train people to become critical thinkers about the world that they are surrounded, or the world that they live in, I should say.
For sure.
Yeah. Can I just mention one thing about the location? As much as I love London Met, and all the courses now will take place at the Holloway campus, except for the architecture course, it is located next to Emirates Stadium. So not great.
That's Julius and I are together in our football support there. That may have an impact on you, it may not, but something to be aware of nonetheless, particularly if you're trying to come out at 7:30 on a Tuesday or a Wednesday evening when there's 60,000 people getting off the train at Finsbury Park. Might make it testing.
Okay.
Yeah. Just in closing, Julius, you've given me some details of a podcast that you recommend that people, if they're not familiar with, download and listen to. We've also got a QR code there for the British Sociological Association, which I assume that all of your students would become members of. perhaps Aurora is. And there's also a link there specific directly through to the London Metropolitan University's Public Social Care and Third Sector section, of which you will find details within there of the sociology and the youth studies courses. So anything that either of you want to add about the podcast or the association website?
Well, I'm very approachable. So if anybody is interested in studying a BSc Honours degree program in youth studies, you can of course find my details by checking out the youth studies page via the QR code that Gareth has made available on this slide. So you can contact me, I can send over more information, and in general, studying can be amazing. You are also likely to meet more like-minded people, which is not always the case in a secondary school or a sixth form college, when you kind of mash together with random people who happen to live in your neighborhood. So university can be a fantastic journey because you are with people who are passionate about what you are passionate about, and which is why many people end up having and finding friends that they keep for the rest of their lives.
And I'm sure, Aurora, you would advocate that as well, particularly as an international student. I'm sure that you've met many new friends as a result of your experience.
Yes, of course. I met like really good friends, and I see like they will stay in the future with me because, as Julius said, like we share like the same passion. And, we can always come up with really interesting arguments together about sociology and not. And yes, of course, you'll meet definitely really good friends that will support you through your journey, and they will be the most important ones, I think. And I'll say that's really important for your journey. You need to have these friends that are always like, support you, and you can, share your thoughts, and whenever you need help, they're there. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Well, look, I think that's a really nice way to conclude the webinar that we've done this afternoon, Aurora. So thank you for sharing your experiences. To Julius, thank you so much for talking us through what sociology is, the courses that are available at London Met, and the type of young person who may be really well suited for this type of degree and the subsequent career that comes with it. Just in closing then, so the screen you've got in front of you now, this shows you, if you're not familiar with them, our various handles for the HOP site. So you've got the various different social media platforms there. The QR code on the left, if you click through on that, that will take you through to all the previous webinars that we've been running over the last 4 or so years. There's nearly 100 of them now. We cover all sorts of career angles on there. So done sociology today. Previously, we've done everything from joining the police to working as a flight attendant to chemical engineering to journalism. So I'd be pretty confident in saying there's something on there for everyone. So do have a look and do share it with your family and friends and your teachers as well. So Julius and Aurora, thank you for joining us. Any closing comments for you just before we go?
Just thank you for inviting me.
Pleasure.
Yeah, thank you a lot. It was a great experience, so thank you so much.
Great, and thank you, and all the best.
Good luck to all the A-level students out there, and some also prefer to wait a little bit before they embark on their university studies, which is perfectly fine. I did that. Many of my colleagues did that. So it can sometimes be advantageous to have a bit of personal and professional experience under your belt before you pursue a particular bachelor's journey.
Sure. Thank you, Julius. Yeah, absolutely. I did my degree when I was 39. So yeah.
I waited as well. So yeah.
Okay. Thanks, guys. And yeah, all the very best.